Welcome to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. And today it's episode 32, and we're talking about the 10 things, the 10 habits that most successful entrepreneurs do. I'm Brian Benson, and next to me, well, he once ate so many carrots his skin turned orange, Mike Stull. He wrote a book called Dominate Your Day, and he's going to dominate your day right now. Check out his website, michaelstull.com. You can get it for $19.95.
Now, I chose this particular reading because I think this is something that we need to hear too, okay? There are times when we all feel a lack of patience. We get frustrated that things are not happening on the timeline that we want them to, whether personal or business. The thing that you need to remember, and that Brian and I need to remember, is that there is certain timing to everything, both big and small. If things aren't happening right now, that's okay. Take a step back to survey the situation and make better use of your quote-unquote downtime. Maybe you are being prepped for something big on the horizon, which I truly believe that, for not only those that are listening and watching, but Brian and I. Maybe you need to look at things from a different angle or point of view. Just know right now is happening because it's supposed to, and that's worth reading again. Just know right now is happening because it's supposed to. Live in the moment, keep your head up. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The great things on the horizon are coming your way. I like this one because I think you and I probably lose our patience at times too. And I like that it says, just know right now it's happening because it's supposed to. It's part of the unstoppable pursuit.
Yeah, it's part of the process, and you got to trust the process, you know?
We need to start taking our own advice.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Mike wrote that book. Of course you like it. You wrote it.
Yeah,
all right.
I forgot I wrote that, but it's a good reminder that I did.
It's awesome. We do. And I think there's a lot of people out there that need to take their own advice at a lot of times because we tend to, it tends to be a lot easier to say than do. So,
right.
Hey,
yep.
Also, this episode, before we really dive in, this episode is sponsored by HealthyDads.com. Check out HealthyDads.com. I am a dad, and I love the fact that this website helps you become healthier as a dad. It has tons of recipes, tons of health tips, and it's very easy. And it's not the why you're doing it. It's here's how you have a 5-minute workout. Here's how you drink more water during your day. It's just very easy, very simple. Check it out. You're gonna love it. All right, thanks, Healthy Dads. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the sponsorship.
We love you. All right, let's get into this. The 10 habits that most successful entrepreneurs do. All right, number 1 is create a morning routine.
I think a routine is obviously important no matter what it is in your life. I think that in order to be successful, whether it's in athletics or business or health, you have to have a routine. You have to, we don't probably talk about health as much as we should. I thought about that, on this segment. We tend to focus on the business and life portion, but for health, I mean, the routine of getting to the gym, no matter what time it is, in the morning or at night, whenever it fits your schedule, that's obviously important to getting into amazing shape. Now, the point with the creating a routine thing that I think is worth mentioning is, as important as it is to have the routine, it's important not to get stuck in the rut of that. So for the health and wellness example, I would say it's important to go to the gym and get in the routine of going to the gym. However, it is not good to go to the gym and do the same thing every single time. You never increase the resistance, you never switch up the workout, add variety, challenge yourself, take yourself out of your comfort zone. That's where creating a routine can backfire on you. So I think it's worth noting that it's important to have a routine. I think anyone that's super successful or have accomplished things in their life, I think that they would say you need a routine, but you also need to be willing to be flexible and to be able to adapt the routine.
Dude, and I love that you said that because I think it does go into the business and life part. Say I believe the whole thing is having that overarching routine. Yes, you do this in the morning, you do this, you go to the gym, having the routine to go to the gym. But even like if your routine calls for some personal time, maybe you get in the routine of having that personal time as meditation at your house. Well, then maybe that personal time changes, and then it's, hey, I'll take a walk on the beach, or hey, I'll do this, or I'll listen to different music if that's part of your routine. So have a routine, but be okay with the changes within it, and because things are going to happen. And I think changing it up, not, you're still doing the same thing, you're still doing that personal time, but things just change a little bit, it's only going to help you grow and learn and become better. Like, so mentally and physically, it works both ways. So thanks for sharing. That's why you're on this podcast, and you teach us about health.
I do bring something to the table every once in a while. All right, number 2, keep your mornings for your toughest projects.
For me personally, and I just, for this one, I was sort of up and down on, because I think people work better at different times. Yeah. I don't want to say, hey, put your toughest projects in the morning if you're a better afternoon worker. Yeah. But from my experience personally, I really do love to hustle my ass off with harder projects first thing in the morning, because I'm kind of like the most alert, I'm ready to go. And then I can take the rest of my day to just kind of pick and choose the things that I want to do. So I try to grind it out early, and then I have the rest of the afternoon to choose, okay, I can work on this or get on my priority list. But that would be the only thing I would really say on that.
Yeah, I'm a morning person as far as work goes. I wouldn't say I'm a morning person as far as talk, but I do my best work probably between 7 in the morning and 12 noon. Now again, like you said, not everyone's like that. So I guess my change with this would be keep that time of the day stored away for your toughest projects. You know what I mean? Like you said, if you crush it between 1 and 4, then make sure you block that time frame out so that you are doing your most important work at that time that absolutely needs to get done. So I wouldn't necessarily say just keep your mornings for the toughest projects. Find what time frame works for you. Some people are like night owls, and they'll crush it from like 9 p.m. to like 1 in the morning.
Right.
I don't care. That's fine. I mean, I truly don't think that anyone's crushing it 8 hours a day.
No.
The only person I think probably does that, who do you think?
Gary Vee.
Gary Vee. Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk is the only person on planet Earth that legitimately does work like 16 hours in a row. Like for me, honestly, I can't work 8 hours in a row. Like I crush it in like 3 to 4 hour time frames. That's what works best for me.
You know what? Tough projects. You wrote a book. When was your best time for working? Oh my God. Mike almost wiped out. Mike's on the floor.
Honestly, super early in the morning. Actually, I was getting to Starbucks about 6:30 in the morning, and I would write until about 11:30 in the morning. Straight through, dude. Yeah. I drink like 2 or 3 coffees in that time, get up to pee, and then like I didn't write the rest of the day because I wasn't inspired to write in the afternoons or at night. I just crushed it in the morning, and I did that for 2 years.
Yeah, no.
Go buy my book, damn it. Yeah. Show me some love.
MichaelStull.com. All right. Next one is give a head start to tomorrow today.
This one, I think this one's important, and we kind of, when I read this one, we do this for our podcast. Like, we present our content for the day, but typically, actually, sometimes before the podcast, usually after the podcast, we're planning, we're giving time to what our next podcast is going to be as far as what we want the content to be, such and such. So I think it's important to focus. Obviously, we always talk about being in the present and focusing on what you deem to do right now. But you would be a fool not to schedule a little bit of time to have your mastermind like what you do and plan for the next day's activity. Because what's that saying go? If you don't plan, you plan to fail, basically, right? Is that how the saying goes?
I don't know. I haven't heard it, but yeah, I'll take it.
Fail to plan.
By Mike Stull.
No, fail to plan, then you're planning to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're not taking a little bit of time, if we don't take time today to plan for tomorrow or our next podcast, then we're going to go in like blind sheep, and we're not going to really have a strategic game plan. Yeah. It's like not practicing before a game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Athletically.
Yeah. No, 100%. And Boy Scouts taught us this, and it's preparation. It's all down to preparation. So I've interviewed a ton of successful entrepreneurs. Check out inspirelink.com.
There's nothing wrong with putting in a plug.
This is our podcast.
Yeah.
So, but for most of the successful people, I always ask, what's something you do on a daily basis that helps you be more successful? And I would say a very large majority of them had talked about the preparation or creating like a priority list the night before. Yeah. So you wake up and you go, okay, I know what I'm doing. You're ready to go when you wake up in the morning.
You're more organized.
Yeah, I think that is really good to start doing some things today so tomorrow is easier and better and you're more prepared.
And there's nothing wrong with winging it, but you still want to have a game plan.
Right.
Like we don't have this podcast 100% planned out. Like, for example, we have our bullet points of our content, but there's nothing else written on these sheets of paper. Like there's nothing. Like so we let our creativity flow from that, but we are still organized and planning ahead by having a bullet point and some sort of structure.
Yeah, and Mike and I had talked about this a little bit, but that like we come up with these topics. Almost like right immediately after the podcast, or like a couple days before, so we actually do prepare and read and learn and invest. So
we sit on it for like a whole week essentially, which allows us to kind of think of things that we want to talk about and whatnot, and that's what it takes, is kind of let it marinate a little bit so that we can bring some creativity to the table.
Yeah, I 100% agree. All right,
number 4. This is a no-brainer. Working out and meditation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million types of meditation. Transcendental, I think it's called transcendental meditation. I actually just saw like a Facebook post on this, but like so many like Hollywood amazing people. Well, I saw Ellen talking about it. I saw Jerry Seinfeld. I saw like all these people talking about it. So it's called TM. I think it's called Transcendental Meditation. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly, but check that out. But and Mike will be able to shed more light on this. You got to have some kind of workout. You need to do something that is continuing to, this is 2 things for me. This is helping your physical health, and then it's also helping your mental health. And you need to do both. So you stay sane, so you don't deal with anxiety and burnout and depression. And those are all real things as an entrepreneur. If many of you are entrepreneurs, or even if you're in a very high-stress job, you need to have an outlet, and that to me is the outlet.
I was going to say is the outlet. Everyone needs to have an outlet, and I don't care. And I tell people, I don't care what it is. It could be paddleboarding. It could be like boxing. It could be meditation, yoga. You could go and get a deep tissue massage, where you're relaxing and recovering. I mean, it does not matter. You could ride your bike. I could think of a million different things that you move your body that could be an awesome outlet. And it doesn't matter if you want to do it on your lunch break. Just find time. Like, again, I'll reference Gary Vaynerchuk. He even let his health go by the wayside, which is why he invested in a personal trainer full-time that travels all over the world with him, because he has to get his workout in every single morning real early before he starts the day. And he realized the importance of that. Now, everyone can't afford a personal trainer, but it highlights the point of having some sort of an outlet so that you can be healthy to be successful, okay? You don't want to be super successful and you got a shitty slate of health, and then you're not even able to enjoy that level of success,
100%, brother. I love it. Actually, I just listened to our last podcast because I like to critique ourselves, and I just realized I say 100% so much. I got to stop that. All right.
That's so funny.
It's really...
You're on board 100%,
yeah.
Right? I mean, you agree 60% of the time. It works every time.
That's exactly right.
With me 100%.
Oh, man. It's out of control.
That's what blood brothers do, bro. You agree with me all the time.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with a health professional, somebody who's dedicated their lives to that.
I'm going to give this one to you. I'm going to read this one because you already called yourself out on it and said you need to do it. Number 5 is schedule time for revenue-generating activities, because the truth is, people, in order for a business to survive, you got to make money. It's that simple.
If you ain't making money,
not generating revenue,
you don't got a business.
You are a full-time volunteer. Congratulations. So I'm going to hand the mic off to Brian on this one.
I think what's so important is, and we just said it, if you aren't making revenue, you don't have a business. So you might as well sign up for your 501c3 and take donations. But I would say even at the nonprofit level, I think that it's so important to do those revenue generating activities every day. Sometimes I catch myself, it's not that I don't want to do it. It's not that it's not on the forefront of my mind. It's I get deep into these interviews and then editing and then curating my content and then
the product itself.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so I get so obsessed with it that I almost forget, oh my gosh, if I want to continue doing this, I got to go make money. So it is really, really good, and I've said this before in other podcasts, like schedule these things. I need to put this in my calendar, and I told Mike, I said, okay, now I need to realize, like, before every Thursday, like, I need to report back to Mike, because he's helping, hey, who I hit up, when I hit him up, how I hit him up, and then we continue moving from there. But those are revenue-generating activities, is sales, make sales. So I need to do it. I need to get better at it.
You know what I have to say about that, Brian? 100%. 100%, bro. Love it.
I listened to us on the two speed, and oh my gosh, I'm like, yeah, 100%, yeah, 100%, 100%. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta stop.
That's so funny.
It's out of control.
All right.
You got anything there?
Nope.
Awesome. All right. The next one is to measure, right? Measure the
measure and track the
measure and
progress.
track progress.
Now, I'll speak from a health and wellness perspective on this.
Yeah.
I could speak on business too, but you have to have some sort of measurement of progress so that you're not like a hamster in a cage running on the spinning wheel, and you're just spinning your wheels. So for health and wellness, like, going into the gym or whatnot, for me personally, I am either trying to get more reps, decrease my rest time. I am trying to lift heavier. If I use 60-pound dumbbells this time, I want to try 65, and then I want to get 70, 75, and I want to keep measuring my progress so that I keep taking, even if they're baby steps, I don't want to stay the same. And from an entrepreneurship standpoint, like, I am very turned off by complacency. You do not want to be complacent. Like, it's okay to appreciate where you're at and be thankful for what you have, but what's your measuring tool to make sure that you are progressing, to make more money, okay, to be better in business? Because again, we have to have revenue. So, I think the measuring tool for everyone's probably going to be different, but I'm just speaking in health and wellness terms because I'm always striving to push myself in the gym. Maybe you wear a Fitbit and you want to burn more calories. That's very black and white on measuring progress.
Well, but it correlates, Mike, everything that you just talked about. That correlates if you were just to replace, health and wellness or in the gym to in the boardroom. You should always be measuring your results because you need to know where you're going and that you're making progress. I mean, if you are in any business situation, people want to know you're making progress, and you yourself need to know you're making progress. Otherwise, well, you're just going to be mediocre and you're not going to go anywhere.
Like,
so
I'm thinking
I
like
agree.
InspireLink. Like, you have 5 InspireLinks in 5 universities. Okay, the measurement is, no, within the next 3 months, we want to be in 10 universities.
Right.
That's black and white. We're increasing the number of universities that the business is in.
Yeah, you just have to measure. And this, I mentioned this in one of the last podcasts, but it's amateurs don't keep score, professionals keep score. That's the difference between amateurs and pros. The pros keep score, and you have to keep score and measure. So,
I love it. Ryan from $1 Million Listing New York would say, expansion always in all ways.
Yeah.
And that's true.
But it is true.
I mean, Michael Jordan, he always kept score.
Oh, yeah.
Know?
Oh, my God. If you listen to Magic Johnson, if you listen to Larry Bird, if you listen to Michael Jordan, they will tell you, I bet you any money, and
They don't know how many times they've won against each other.
Exactly.
And lost, probably.
100%. Oh, they do. Oh, there it is.
But that was a natural 100% though. You got really into it. But it's true though.
But they do.
They probably know
so
their record
funny.
against their enemies.
Oh, they know how many points they've scored. They know how many free throws they hit. They know all that against each other, and it's hilarious.
So if you're not keeping track, you are an amateur.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 7, encourage them to provide solutions, not problems.
So yes, encourage your team to provide solutions, not problems, and that's very, very important. But in any organization, you always need to be looking at opportunities and solving problems. And so it's always looking for how can you fix something, how can you make something more streamlined. But there's a certain way you have to look at things, It's getting people to look outside the box, and the biggest thing to help provide solutions is questioning. Yeah. Why is it this way? Why are we doing this way in our company? Why? Oh, is there a better way to create this? Is there a better way to do this? And I'm telling you, I'll give the example of Elon Musk. Is this guy's not an astronaut? This guy didn't, go to space. He doesn't know anything about physics and all that stuff. But guess what? He put a spaceship in outer space, but from the standpoint that he was looking for better solutions by asking great questions.
Yeah, and I think that is the key. Effective leadership involves the person in charge asking questions to their team and really trying to find the solution. Someone playing devil's advocate, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Eventually when InspireLink gets to a point where there's tons of employees, I can bet you that we would be in an office setting like this, with a bunch of smart people around, probably smarter than us maybe.
It better be.
Yeah, or we're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And we're saying, what can we do to be better?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's when the mastermind brainstorm starts. So
Yeah, totally agree, man. I was about to say 100%, but I didn't. All right,
so
the
funny. Now we're all self-conscious.
I'm self-conscious now.
That is too funny.
All right, the next one is refresh yourself with quality family time.
We're both getting better at this. Now, for you, you recently having a baby, this is forcing you to do this because now you have someone that is completely dependent upon you. So I think it's a good thing having a child because it's going to force you to have probably a better work-life balance. You know, I'm not there yet because I don't have any kids or anything like that, but I am understanding the importance the more we go on of being able to be in the moment with my family wherever I'm at. You know, but from an entrepreneur standpoint, it is hard to turn off that switch. As you know, talk to any entrepreneur, and they will say that their mind is constantly going. Like right now, I'm renting a condo, and I was talking to my landlord yesterday, and he's been self-employed his entire life. He said the same thing to me. He's like, yeah, you know, I've been like painting and doing like construction my entire life, but since he owned his business, he goes, well, you know how it is, Mike. He goes, I can't shut it off. And we didn't talk about that beforehand. He just said that. And I thought, I do know what that means. Like, we talk about that all the time. It's hard to shut it off, but you do get better at it as time goes on when you realize that, again, like your effective work hours, crush it so that there's times where you truly can take a break and unwind a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's been difficult for me. Even when you have, you know, a kid and things, I'm on my phone, I'm emailing, I'm texting Mike.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I'm unwinding, like I'm like, oh, finally, you know, and then I get like 70 text messages blasting through from Brian. You know, I'm like, damn, dude.
I know, it gets bad.
There goes my balance.
I know, and
I do the same thing to you too.
I know, and something that I've been trying to do, and I've talked to my wife about this is, I've had to put the phone like on the other side of the room. I mean, just disconnect.
Which is what I told you I was trying to disconnect.
I know. So, and Mike tells me a while ago, one time I was texting him for like 2 days and I was getting very like minimal responses. So I asked him, I was like, oh, what's up? You know, oh, well, I'm really trying to work-life balance. Like last night and the night before, it's just like, I'm just like, Mike Stull.
I'm like spamming his text messages.
I look at my phone, like 15 messages. I'm like, man, this guy just totally went off script here. So.
Like
yeah,
I said, I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, but I think
I need help.
Help me. Put your technology away. You do need to recharge the batteries, and you do need to spend time with your loved ones because they're the ones there at the end of the day. Your business, you know, no matter what happens, it happens. You know, that's the end of it. Some things are out of your control, but the one thing that you have, you know, always will have is the people supporting you, and that's your family and friends. And I think it's important for you to make an effort.
Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad.
Yeah, love you guys. Love everybody so much. We just, all right.
Number 9, Jimmy. Segregate each day for separate business activity. This kind of goes with, I would say, number 2 kind of somewhat.
Yeah, sort of prioritizing things. So, yeah, I mean, and I know there's a lot of side hustlers that listen to our podcast, and so, you know, but just understand, to me, just understand what you're working on, when you're working on it, and if it's effective or if it's priority or if it's not. Just understand that, you know, hey, I need to take time to work on this for a while. Okay, that's good. Now I need to spend time on this for a while. So just make sure that you're not spending so much time on activities that may not be benefiting you in the long run. That's, I guess, what that sort of means to me, is like just have different things for different times of the day.
100%, bro. 100%.
Oh,
I'm on board with that, man.
That's it. That's it.
No, number 10.
Number 10. No. But I mean, like, that was it for that one. Yeah. All right. Last one is continue learning and listening to this podcast.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly. Keep listening to this podcast because, you know, and we talked about this before. We're actually, I'm beginning to think this podcast is as much about Brian and I as it is about paying it forward to those that are watching and listening, because we're learning a lot as we go through these segments, like thinking like, we'll text each other during the week and say, dude, we need to start taking our own advice on this or on that or on this, because, it's easy to talk about, but it's hard to implement sometimes, and take your own advice. But, and again, like even Brian today was like, dude, you need to get on Amazon and order this book. And I was like, oh, what, my book, Brian? He's like, no, your book is shit. He goes, you need to go and order this book from Amazon that I'm reading, dude. It's like, it put me in a whole new mindset. And so, like, Brian's reading, like, I'm always reading different articles and whatnot. Like, we're always a work in progress. Like, even if you're worth $250 million, you still have the capability to learn new things. Like, it's impossible to know everything about everything. And you would be ignorant to think the opposite. So, just being a work in progress and accepting that there's a huge learning continuum that you're going to be on your entire life, which happens to also be called the unstoppable pursuit.
Yes. See you guys. No, but great points, Mike. And just a short story. I was in this meeting today with one of the universities we're going to be working with, and I said to them when we had the conversation, I didn't walk in there saying I know everything. I know that. I literally sat there and said, this is a great conversation because I'm learning so much about what you need and how I can help. And now I know things for other universities and how to implement. Right. And if I didn't continue learning and have that open mind of that I need to continue learning, then I would be so shut off to that. But I think that it's so important, like Mike said, read something every day, listen to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast or any podcast, whatever, but mostly ours. But yeah, you need to invest in yourself with your mind, because there's so many things out there that will really just help you with people. So anyway, all right, on to the challenge for the day. The challenge is I think that's very, very important out of all of these. If you are a side hustler, even if you are an employee or an entrepreneur, I think that revenue generating activities, I think you need to schedule that in your day every single day. If you are an employee, let me tell you something, just because your boss, his name is on your paycheck, that's not where that money's coming from. That money's coming from clients. That money is coming from the outside people that you make sales to at the end of the day. So if you are part of a team, you help make sales so you can get your paycheck, so you can go home and provide for your family. Create and do revenue generating activities every day. That's your challenge.
Love it, bro. Health tip is, we all have weak areas of our body, things that we're not very good at. I will say, and I may have talked a little bit about this in a previous segment, but if you have a really weak muscle group or an area that definitely needs improvement, I often recommend doing that at the very beginning of your workout. When you have the most energy, you're the most focused. For me, would be like pull-ups. I've always been terrible at pull-ups. Growing up as a kid, I think I might have said this previously, but I never could get the pull-up challenge. I would get second place on the presidential thing because I could do the sit-ups, I could do the agility stuff, and then I'd go to do a pull-ups, and I could barely even pull myself up. So what I did was I got one of those stretch bands, and I wrapped it and tied it around the bar, the pull-up bar, and then I put my knee in it so that it helped me get out of the bottom position of a pull-up, but I had to do majority of it towards the top. And I started building up my strength on pull-ups like that, and now I can rip out like 12, 15 pull-ups like it's nothing without the band. But I always did those at the beginning of a workout. So let's say your arms are weak, do your arms at the beginning. Or let's say you have really, really weak core, do your core at the beginning, not at the end when it's really, really tired. So prioritize whatever's weak at the beginning, and you'll notice that it'll start to catch up with the rest of your body.
That's awesome. Hey, that kind of goes back to the one point is, for the hardest things, save the mornings are for the toughest projects.
Yes.
But it's like the beginning of your workout is for the toughest part, the toughest project.
Exactly.
If your abs, if you're, I like that.
No, and quickly, just a little side note, like my left pec is way bigger than my right pec.
Let me feel. Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah, it's like substantial. So what I do is oftentimes,
insane.
I mean, I don't know whether to sue Brian or I don't know.
Yeah,
how
what
I'm
was that?
feeling
Was
right
that
now.
sexual harassment?
No, but I will prioritize doing like my right pectoral stuff before.
Why
anything.
is that?
I don't know, man. It could be genetically, or it could be I've been overcompensating for a long time, and the left side just built up. But I'll do a lot of like right pec movements to try to catch it up in the beginning of a workout, so that it can catch up.
Yeah, no, very, very important. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate you. Hey, thank you, healthydads.com. One more time, we really appreciate your sponsorship. We also appreciate Garcia Carlson, CPA firm. Check them out if you need an accountant. We really appreciate you. All everybody who support us, please continue to subscribe, rate, and review. We are having so much fun doing this, and we want to continue doing it, but we need your downloads and we need your reviews. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all on the next episode.